reparations, recognition of its sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, and an end to American sanctions. This is what Iran listed as their demands that Donald Trump deemed unacceptable. So I want to know how y'all feel. John, what are your thoughts? How do you feel about these demands, and where do you think we go from here?
Yeah, Smitty, there's been some interesting developments in the last 24 hours. I also wanted to let everybody know, just so everyone's aware, there was a mass drive-by shooting here in New Jersey last night. Patterson, 7 people were hit, 2 unalived so far. Happened at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning while I was working. The alert came through. Thank God it's nowhere near where I was picking people up. It is North Jersey, and it's really sad. I'm kind of worried. I'm reaching out to friends and family right now just to make sure everybody's safe. But that happened this morning. So prayers for everybody in Patterson, New Jersey, please. As far as this thing that's going on, and the only reason I mention it, Smitty, is I know you're passionate about that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just wanted you to be aware of it, that it happened.
I appreciate that.
As far as this Iran thing is going on, we're so effed, it's not even funny. We got ourselves into something that we had no idea. We knew what we were stepping into. The administration fired everybody who could have possibly warned against this. They fired career generals. They fired career military people and advisors, including translators. They're not taken care of. You got this blockade is probably one of the worst things that we could have done, because we're sitting ducks literally in the sea over there. I think it's only a matter of time until they go all out launching on us. I mean, it's been kind of quiet, but we also lost two U.S. service members went missing in a routine air operation over Morocco. The body of one soldier was found yesterday, did not survive. He was found along the shores. They have not found the other soldier yet. So still no word on that. Not sure if that convoy is a part of this operation, or if they were just a part of another group, but it is something to be paying attention to. Netanyahu also gave an interview with 60 Minutes. They have told the United States that they no longer want to use our military defenses. Got to look a little bit more into that. That makes no sense, but they basically told the Trump administration they want to stop using U.S. aid and U.S. military aid. So I find that a little fishy. So some different things there. I do think we've lost this. I mean, we've talked extensively about this. Iran has the upper hand because of the area, and they have the strait. And I don't think they realized the power they had until we started this. And now they do, and they're not going to relinquish it. And I'll land there for now.
Yeah, thank you, John. I appreciate that. 10 Bears, what do you think? How do you feel about this? What are your thoughts?
For 40 plus years, Iran has victimized, attacked our bases, unalived our service people. The only thing I wished would have happened was Barack Obama do this in his term instead of President Trump. That way, at least Barack Obama would have had the full support to get this done. And I feel John is not understanding the capabilities of the United States Navy. They're not sitting ducks at all. There is so much foul. You have no idea what a carrier group is. That's very clear to me. Because if you did, you would know a carrier group is literally a iron dome in itself. Not much is going to get through. Now, we've come to a point where I feel, and I support the president, I voted for the president, but it's time to, negotiations should be finished. Let's get the job done. Let's finish it. But the reparations, no. For the Iraqi people that is asking for America to help them. Yes,
Hi,
we
it's
want to help
Iran,
those
not
people.
Iraq. We're in
We want to
Iran,
help those
not
people.
Iraq.
I,
Wrong
you
country.
what, ma'am?
Yeah,
So,
you mentioned the wrong country. We're in Iran, not Iraq. Okay.
I didn't. Oh my God! I know we're in Iran. I know that. And
Okay.
it's did I say Iran?
you said
You said Iraqi
hold on, y'all.
people.
Let me I got
Oh, my bad.
you said the Iraqi people. You meant the Iranian people, but it's okay. Go ahead.
I'm confused. I'm sorry. I meant Iran.
hmm
I'm 64. I get a little sideways
Okay.
sometimes.
Okay. Let me
But
ask you a
thank
question though, real quick,
thank you,
Bears. If I can just jump in.
thank you, Caroline, for helping me. But anyway,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
we have the capability to end this. I agree with Caroline quite a bit, but not too much. As for me, it's time to take off the gloves. Let's go to town. Let's finish the job. Let's help the Iranian people. They want our help, and let's be done with this mess.
Let me ask you a question, Tim Bears, and I want to let John come back in because you mentioned his comment. When you say let's finish it, one thing that I've read is that in order to what folks are thinking about that do want to finish it the way you said it, is that would mean boots on the ground. Do you support boots on the ground in Iran? What do you think about that? And then I want to go to let John respond. Good morning, AG. By the way, go ahead.
Oh, okay, again, we don't need boots on the ground. We have so much advanced military equipment that boots on the ground is not necessary.
Okay.
And we can end this without putting boots on the ground. I don't understand why so many people don't understand that. They've talked about putting boots on the ground, but with all the technology that all the military of our country has, it's very incredible. I mean, there's stuff that you cannot imagine that I know what they have. I mean, there's so much just on YouTube that you could look at that we have. We don't need boots on the ground, period.
Okay. All right. Let me let John respond to your comment. Then I want to bring Ken in. So we'll go John, then Ken, then Carolina. John, your response to Bears.
So, Bears, real quick, I just have one quick question for you. What is the one point that both Trump and Netanyahu are not willing to budge on? What's the one thing they're not willing to budge on?
No nuclear weapons for
No
Iran.
no enriched uranium. How do they get the enriched uranium out of Iran without putting boots on the ground? Do you think they're going to do it by osmosis? I don't think so.
Yes,
So
that's
the
how,
only way
that's
to
how
do
they
that,
will do
the
it.
only way to
Yes,
go in
that's
and
how
get
they will do it. Osmosis. You are correct. We don't
The-
need boots on the ground, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Iran is not just
When
going to
you
hand
finish
over
the
their
job-
enriched uranium. It's not
When you
going to
finish
happen.
the job,
Can you
That's
mute
when you
up?
go-
I did not interrupt you, sir. Here, we do not interrupt people. We let them finish their thought. I let you finish your thought. You can let me finish my thought. Mute up. Don't unmute again, please. Those are the rules of the live. Mute your thing. Go ahead and mute up. Mute up. Mute the mic.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Go ahead.
So-
John.
Again, when it comes to the enriched uranium, they are not just going to give it to us. We did that dance once, remember? With Obama. Yes, with Obama, the guy that you wished could have taken care of this problem. He did take care of this problem. This problem was solved in 2015. The JCPOA, in coordination with 5 other countries, including Russia and China, all sent inspectors into Iran to verify no enriched uranium. No, we did not send them any more than the $1.8 billion of frozen assets that they had. That's all they got. And they got it. Why? Because they gave us the enriched uranium. Trump came in being inferior to a black man and tore it up. Goodbye, JCPOA. Hello, Iran getting new enriched uranium. And now they've got the money to buy it. and now they're not going to let us in to inspect again. Meanwhile, you keep complaining about Iran getting a nuclear weapon. Meanwhile, Israel's got them, Pakistan's got them, Afghanistan's got them, China has them, North Korea has them, Russia has them. I mean, come on, dude. All of those countries are against us. Every single one of them. And not one is launched on us. But oh my God, do we have to go into Iran now? The only thing we're going to have to do is put boots on the ground. That's the only way this can end. And you will lose more lives, more American soldiers than we did in Vietnam.
Okay.
So if that's what you want, keep pushing for it. We need to admit defeat and walk away.
Go ahead, Bears. Really quick response, and I want to let Ken come in. Go ahead, Bears. Go ahead.
First of all, you must be a very young man and delusional. We don't need boots on the ground. After we get the job done, we put people on the ground to go remove the enriched uranium. After the job is done and their military is completely wiped off the face of the earth. You have no idea what you're talking about. I can tell what type of person you are by your very intellectual speech you just gave. A pure stupidity. You have no idea the threat that they have been on this entire world for the past 45, 50 years. So
what about the threat the United States has been on for 250 years?
Mute up. Mute up.
Don't interrupt me. Go ahead, Bears.
I can tell you know nothing about what the hell is going on, period. You don't even know what we truly have and what we can truly do. So, yes, we will get the enriched uranium. When we have finished dealing with their military, we will walk in peacefully with the Iranian people that want us there and remove it. And you don't think they've been a threat to this world? You live under a rock. I'm done with you.
Okay. All right. Let me go to Ken. Thank you, Bears. Let me go to Ken. Ken, your thoughts. How do you feel about the deal that Iran offered, and what do you think about the prospects of what's going to happen next? What do you think?
If they released a new deal recently, I truly don't know it. But what do I think as far as what is to happen next? Mm-hmm. What's to happen next is we lose. We're going to go up over there and we're going to lose. Because it's not in the American soldiers' hearts to go into another country, especially a mountainous country that it's not a flat desert. You can't just go up in there like this guy earlier was saying, just go in there and get the job done. I don't even know what the job done is. Like, what does that mean, bro? Like, you're dealing with like 21 different militaries in different sections. Once you get this part taken care of, how are you going to deal with the rest of everybody who has different commands, different plans than the other military? It's a mountainous terrain, so like good luck getting all those guys up in there and getting them to exactly where they need to be, because you're just going to get us killed. And when I say by us, I'm a 31-year-old man. They're going to send 18 to 24 automatically, putting them in a lottery draft. Mm-hmm. And then once those guys are done for, guess who the fuck they coming after? Me and my 34-year-old brother, and us probably up to 40. So you think that we're going to go up in there and get the job done when what is in preparation is a very, very long war that is not going to end. It's going to probably be a forever war. And a lot of American lives, a lot of Iranian lives, a lot of everyone's lives are going to be affected. Our lives are going to be taken. And we're going to have to be forced to fight for this war machine. But I don't think we're going to win. I think that as soon as we try to do some more crazy stuff, Russia and China and their other allies are going to rush in to protect their assets, because as soon as we take this fuel away, then their other things don't work. So how are we going to allow them to just give us, like the other person said, like I think John said, just give us these minerals? It's not going to happen like that, because these people fight with it with their hearts, and we don't have it in our hearts to go fight.
Okay. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it. Let's go to Jonas. Then we'll go to Gina, and then Catalina will drop back down to you. But before we do, quick poll: if you think that that Donald Trump deeming these demands unacceptable was a good move, that the U.S. has the upper hand in Iran, put a 1. If you do not, put a 2. Let's just see what the chat is. Jonas, your thoughts? How do you feel about this?
I mean, I'm not really surprised by the response to the peace deal. Also, I do believe that in Trump's selfishness, I do believe that this is like, how do you say, like a broad display of diplomacy when in reality, I believe that Trump is just waiting for the time to where people get fed up enough to where he can just do what he really wants to do, which is like probably decimate all of their capability of being like self-sufficient when it comes to oil and sending and selling. So I do believe that the peace deal thing is just a distraction. I also don't agree with the brother before me saying that the war is long. It literally would take us probably 2 missiles in the right places and we can just walk away. We'll be deemed as devils forever. However, we're not going to have boots on the ground. That's not going to happen. It would be political assassination. Trump is too selfish. He cares about himself too much. He wouldn't go out like that. I do believe that Trump is just trying to show like some diplomacy, but in reality, I believe after a little longer of talks, we kind of know where he's gonna hit. It's gonna suck, but I don't
You think he's just gonna, some horrendously awful missile strike, and that's what he's gonna do to try to end it at some point.
I mean, like everyone knows that Iran is known for being great negotiators. They don't really have a lot of like the bat that they have is not big. They're just really good at using it and leveraging it with the way that they talk. And so that's literally what they're doing. But Trump already knows this. Is just okay. Well, we're gonna seem like we're gonna talk to them and be diplomatic, and then after they say no, then we'll have every right to go and do exactly what we want to do. And essentially, that's how I view these talks.
Okay. All right. Let me go to Gina, and then we'll go to, and then we'll drop down to Catalina and Keikos. I'll work you in. What do you think? What do you think about what Jonas had to say? What do you think about what you've heard, Gina, on the panel so far?
Yeah, I actually don't believe that America has the upper hand here. Perfectly honest. I think from a military perspective, I was in the military for a number of years. I'm actually a nuclear weapons specialist. That's what I did in the military. Terrain dropping. The funny thing to me is if you're talking about a war on foot, you have to airdrop the folks in, and then how do you get them out, right? So you're not going to be able to get the folks out of country if you drop them in. So that's a loss, right? So that's an absolute loss there. From a negotiation perspective, I think we were fine before it started. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly we ended up bombing Iran based on their nuclear capability when we said 6 months ago that it was already decimated. So I'm not really sure what we're doing at this juncture. To me, it's just an absolute total loss. The only way, in looking at our administration here and what the folks that we have running the country, I think the only way that they can get out of it is actually doing something that would be absolutely horrendous. It probably includes something that I'm accustomed to working on.
Wow.
Really, really bad.
Really?
And yeah, I do believe that he is not beyond doing something like that. I don't believe he's beyond it. Because I don't think that our administration will accept the loss and walk away. So.
Wow. Okay. All right. Thank you, Gina. All right. Let me go to Catalina, and then we'll pop up to Keiko. So we'll go to John, then we'll get Jermaine first comment in. Go ahead, Catalina. Your thoughts.
Actually, Smitty, I'm okay if you want to, because I know Keiko's I was originally going to ask the guy who left a question, so I can wait if you want to get Keiko's in real quick.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Catalina. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Gucci. Appreciate you, fam. Thank you. Thank you for everybody contributing. Keikos, your thoughts. What do you think about Iran's demands, and where do you think we go from here?
Hey, guys. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Iranian American. When I listen to what the Iranian government officials have been saying on their interviews, they're basically saying that they don't believe Trump really wants to negotiate either. It's just really funny because it's same as this guy down below who was saying, finish the job, whatever that means. Right? I'd love to ask him to be plain about that. But anyways, they also don't think the U.S. is serious. They say this over and over again. And basically, their premise is every time they've negotiated with Trump, right? Even when there's been an agreement, he finds the way to tear it up. He
Okay,
bombs
go
them
sit
in the
down.
middle of negotiation.
Is Keiko just cutting out for me, or is it for everybody
Yeah,
else too?
he has
cutting out.
no respect for. Is my voice cutting in and out?
Yes.
Let
your
me
connection.
put on my headset.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, John. Appreciate the money guns. Appreciate you, fam. All right, but it sounds like he's cutting out for everybody. Okay, please keep tapping the screen. All right, we're doing pretty good on the likes, though. 44.5. Let's see if we can get to 60 in the next 5 minutes. That'd be amazing. A very important discussion about Iran. Keikos, go ahead. Let's try your Gucci. Thank you, fam. Appreciate you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Keikos.
Is this any better, or is it
Yep,
still
that's
cutting
good.
in and out?
That's good. Yep.
Okay. All right. So what the Iranian government officials and they have sort of a group of academics who go on networks like Al Jazeera and interview shows to speak for them. What they're all saying is that Iran doesn't really believe U.S. wants to negotiate. This is all a delay tactic. The way the U.S. is building up forces, and so they've been preparing for another attack. That's even though and they keep saying we're open to talking, but we don't think Trump is serious. And every time we've engaged in negotiations with him, he literally has attacked us in the middle of negotiations. So he's going to do what he's going to do, and they have to be prepared. And basically, they're preparing to respond by not necessarily going after U.S. Navy ships, which are pretty hard targets, although they might try, but by basically destroying the oil infrastructure all around the Gulf. And the idea is if they're going to go down, or if the U.S., God forbid, decides to use a nuke or something else to quote unquote finish the job, as some people sort of casually say, they're going to destroy all the oil refineries, pipelines, infrastructures all around. Which, to people who don't know, that kind of a thing will plunge the world economy into a recession, maybe a depression, because it will be now not just supply that can't get out. It'll be complete destruction of the supply. 20% will be gone for 10 years. And so they're willing to do this because they have no other option. If the U.S. goes the route of what this guy was saying, again, finish the job, It's easy to talk big like that, but you better be prepared for massive worldwide economic damage, and countries like China potentially then having to respond, because this kind of a thing doesn't just affect Iran now. You're talking about damaging a lot of countries.
Okay. Thank you, Keikos. I appreciate that. John, if you want to jump back in, and then we'll let Jonas come back in. I know a couple of people have addressed his comment, and then we'll try to get Jermaine in as well. Thank you, guys. We're talking about Iran, as you can see with the information here on the background of the live. The Iranian leaders' demands have been listed. This is what they were looking for. This is what Donald Trump deemed unacceptable. That's what we're talking about, and the implications of this conflict continuing to go on. So thank y'all for being here. Appreciate it. Let's go to John. John, your thoughts.
I'm kind of curious just because of some of the things that I've been reading. I was looking up some different info on the amount of arsenal that we've used so far in this conflict. 1,200 Patriot interceptors, which is about 50 to 60% of our total inventory. 1,000 Tomahawks, 30% of pre-war stocks. Of our THAAD and SM missiles, we've used about 50% of those. And we've used 1,100 of our JASSM I'm not really sure what those are. Gina may know a little more than I do because she is military. And that's the reason I was sort of bringing it up. I kind of wanted to pose this question to her.
Well,
You know, they're saying, oh, like the gentleman above me was saying we could just drop two things and be done with this. Well, if that was the case, then why didn't we do that from gate? Like, why have we dropped so much? And if we continue to drop, I mean, the current stocks are saying is going to take at least 5 years to replenish. So that means we're susceptible now to attack here on our homeland. Like, what do we do in that instance? So if this conflict continues and we start dropping again, and we've already used that much of our arsenal, how much more can we use before we leave ourselves defenseless at home? That's that's my worry. That's my concern.
all right. Thank you, John. Let me go to Gina and then Jonas. I think you addressed both of them. So let me go Gina, Jonas, and then we'll go pop up to Jermaine. Gina, your thoughts on the military capabilities and to John's point, this is also reported in many other articles that I've read recently about the stocks of these weapons being very much depleted. So that definitely is something I've heard as well. What do you think, Gina?
Yeah, so the weapons I worked on were nuclear weapons, so nuke-loaded weapons, not necessarily these ground-to-earth, ground-to-air-burst weapon systems. So they're a little different. The concern is exactly as stated. Like, if we've used a significant amount of our stockpile, and it takes years to manufacture through Lockheed Martin and those guys who make these things, right? How would we defend ourselves if we are attacked here at home? And then the other component that someone I think spoke to was, you still have to consider China and Russia in this deal, right? Because that's a great possibility for invasion as it relates to, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Gina.
Yeah, that could be a possibility as well, as Iran continues to nuke those refineries and stuff in that region. So, yeah, I think there's a potential for this thing to expand and for it to be almost insurmountable for the U.S.
Okay, thank you, Gina. Jonas, if you want to respond to what you're thinking as that Trump might be thinking about finishing the job, and then I brought up Tailpipe. I want to get him worked in as well as Jermaine.
My point wasn't like the obviously there's like, to respond to the other people, there are like a lot of situations that would obviously backfire if the so-called finish the job. I don't even remember saying that. I just said that I believe that in his psyche, it's easy to just have this deny of deal, make Iran seem like they're not being reasonable at all, and then do what he wanted to do, which is annihilate, quotation mark, a whole civilization, which, like, a lot of them are saying, oh, well, they'll do this in return. I mean, like, there's like a give and a take. I don't agree that we should be doing whatever and, like, kind of sort of being terrorists. However, like, there's no way we can give them.
Oh, you went on mute, Jonas. I think I know what you were going to say, but I think you went on mute. So let's we'll skip you. I think he was going to say there's no way we can let them have that enriched uranium. Let me go to Jermaine and then Tailpipe, and we'll continue the discussion. Jermaine, what are your thoughts about Iran's demands? Do you think that they were unacceptable, as Donald Trump stated? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's only unacceptable to him because it's not what he wants. Smitty, and I think this is the problem. Like, what happened earlier in this war, first off, I don't think it's a conflict. This is a war. No matter how much they try to diminish it, this is a war. Like, there is no other way to perceive it. So, Smitty, back when the Ayatollah was unalive, right, when they assassinated him, the United States has eliminated almost basically all the moderate forces in that RRGC. Like, the people who are willing to negotiate, the people who had good faith negotiation, right? Who wanted to negotiate with the U.S. But what did the United States do? And what did Trump do? He unalived them. They unalived their leader. And the people are, the IRGC is saying, hey, okay, why are we willing to negotiate with someone who doesn't even want to do it in good faith? So when you draw in these hardline, now you have the hardline extreme IRGC. These are not the people who are willing to negotiate any kind of bad faith agreement. Like we have seen that time and time again as a play. They've denied everything, every U.S. proposal, even the lies that they've done. So, Smitty, now they have these people who are, I can say these people, they have the IRGC who are saying, hey, you've unalived our leader and family members.
Mm-hmm.
All gloves are off. Like this is a war. So they have made it extremely clear: if their demands are not met, there is no deal. They have proved, Smitty, have they lied so far? I mean, you tell me. They haven't, right? Everything that they said has been true. Like every kind of bad faith negotiation, any kind of bad peace talks, Iran is saying no. So you unalive their leaders, family members, a school, and you expect them to abide? No, Smitty. So what he's doing is pressing the table. He's trying to find an off ramp, but he can't. He don't know how to. That's the problem. Because he's trying to find any possible win or gain in this. And he can't. United States will never have the upper hand in this. No amount of nuclear threats, no amount of threats. It doesn't phase Iran because Iran does not fear them. And that's the problem. And I mean, it's not the problem, but and they know that. Iran just don't fear the United States at all. And why should they?
Hey,
They've been waiting on this moment for a long time. They built for this. They prepare for this.
Okay, real quick. Let me just change the order a little bit. Mama, I want to bring you in. I think in the comments you said you disagreed a little bit with what Jerain said, so I wanted to bring you in. And then tell Piper I'm coming to you, then I'm gonna go up to Doc.
Okay, yeah. I disagree. I think I agree a little bit, but then the point that I disagree is that they don't have to fear us, the U.S. And I say us because you live here, you're a United States citizen. So even if you don't agree with it, it's an us. They can not agree and they can want these demands or whatever, but in factuality, most countries, every time that we went to war with them, they've had to conform to what we want anyways. And largely, anytime that we've decided to stop a war or whatever, it's because we got majority of what we wanted out of the situation. This is the reason why we're continuously in the Arabian countries taking their oil. That's the reason why we went to Colombia and Venezuela to liberate them. We didn't do that for our good health because we felt like we wanted to help those people. We did it for our because we saw there was a benefit for America. America has never done anything for the betterment of other fucking people. We don't give a shit about what these other people are doing. We didn't care in World War I or World War II what those people were talking about until something happened to America or we saw benefit for us in those situations. Same thing applies here. We don't care that they don't fear us. That's fine. You don't got to. We just will wipe your whole existence off the face of this earth and y'all won't exist anymore. Or y'all will not exist to the point where there's barely any of y'all, to the point where there won't be enough of y'all for several generations.
Who is we?
Who did that? Because I definitely wanted to respond to that.
Can I finish my point before I got a call? I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, give me 1 second, you guys. Let me let I think Catalina, you flagged, and then I want to go to and bring in Tailpipe. But really, Jones, give me 1 second. Go ahead, Catalina.
Okay, I don't know if she got dropped or what happened because that was but I almost wanted her to stay up here. But a couple of things. Number one, no, it's not we. And again, I will say that as an Indigenous person, I might be a United States citizen. I am not an American. I'm part of a sovereign nation. So no, it's not we. But the claim that the United States has always gotten what it wanted out of wars is incredibly difficult to defend if you know anything about history. Because even though the United States has like this enormous military power, military dominance does not automatically translate to like achieving the political goals or strategic success. And a lot of modern US wars achieved only short-term battlefield victories while failing to achieve their state objectives. Vietnam War, anyone? Vietnam War? It was allegedly that they wanted to prevent the spread of communism and preserve South Vietnam as a pro-US state. The U.S. withdrew in 1973, Saigon fell in 1975, and Vietnam unified under a communist leadership. So definitely didn't achieve the objectives there. The war in Afghanistan, what the objective was to destroy Al-Qaeda. Who's back in charge over there? Yeah, that's what I thought. So the long-term nation building didn't result in what the United States wanted. Creating a stable pro-U.S. democracy did not happen. Permanently weakening the Taliban didn't happen. None of that happened. Iraq War. Also, there were no WMD stockpiles found, which was allegedly the impetus for what we went to war for. Iraq descended into sectarian violence. And ISIS eventually emerged from that instability. So like, that's just going through some of the most recent ones. We could talk about the Bay of Pigs invasion. We can talk about the Korean War. We could talk about like, the entire war on terror as it is. But like that statement in and of itself was absolutely asinine to say that the United States has basically achieved everything that it wanted out of wars. There's just no factual evidence in modern history to support that claim.
Okay, let me go to let me bring in Tailpipe. Tailpipe, your thoughts on the Iranian demands? How do you feel? Do you feel that they were reasonable, or do you agree with Donald Trump that they were unacceptable? Where do you think this war is headed from here? What do you think?
Sure. So I think that it's not a matter of an assumption. It's a matter of fact that the war is going to continue. Fact, not because I say so, but because the United States has said so, that it's going to continue it. You just had 60 Minutes where they had Bibi Netanyahu, an actual war criminal, saying that it's going to continue. So it's not my opinion. You just have to listen to what they say. We just continue to choose not to believe them. But in terms of the 10-point plan, I don't think it's unreasonable in the sense that the 10-point plan is the JCPOA plus a couple of other things. The couple of other things are the reparations for the war damage, the fact that you've had sanctions on this country for the last 20 plus years. They're now saying, well, in this negotiation, because of what you did, we're going to enact a tolling system on the Strait of Hormuz in order to fund reconstruction. So now you're in a worse position. And you're also they're asking you to abide by the same deal that they had before, which is not to enrich beyond past 3%. They're okay with international monitoring. They're okay with turning over the nuclear stockpile to the Russians. We're not in a good position from a leverage standpoint, but there's nothing we can do. In your home state of California, Smitty, go to the gas station right now. It's $7 to $8 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is the first time in our modern history that the United States has successfully had sanctions placed against it. If that is not the hallmark of a declining power, I don't know what else is.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tailpipe. I appreciate that. And then let's go to Doc. Doc, good morning. What are your thoughts about the demands the Iranians placed? You think they were unacceptable or not, or reasonable? And where do you think we're going from here?
First of all, thank you for having me, Fiddy, and good morning. Good afternoon to everyone. First and foremost, I do think I would have to agree with the sister and I don't know her name, and Tailpipe, that there's an interest in prolonging this war. We might say that we want regime change in Iran, the American government, but in the reality of the fact is war is profitable. This is a mechanism by which we all know this. We've seen it in Iraq for 20 years. We've seen it in Afghanistan for 20 years, where a lot of the tax money is being siphoned to these military complex corporations like Halliburton and whatnot, and enriching the elite. So there is no interest in ending this war. And if Trump really wanted a regime change, he would have easily deployed the Marines. There will be a lot of losses, or even use nuclear weapons, which obviously would be a war crime in this case. again, there's no reason to do that because not only does it benefit the elite, but it's also having the Shia Iran is as a threat to the Gulf nation. The Sunni Gulf encroachment in the Middle East is also an interest to the United States because these Gulf countries spend billions and billions of dollars buying U.S. weapons, just like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and they are being protected by the United States. Well, I mean, protection is a relative term, right? But so again, there is no interest in removing the Iranian regime. And the Iranians themselves have shown resilience in all of this, to be honest, just to be fair. They have blocked the Strait of Hormuz successfully and have impacted the world economy. And like you said, the gas prices are suffering. The American people, all people across the world, really. And even the Iranian people are obviously suffering from the sanctions that's been deployed for 47 years. So there's no, I don't think there's end in sight. And like the sister said, this is going to be a prolonged war, just like Iraq and Afghanistan. Again, it's not going to benefit us, the people. It's going to benefit the elite. That's how I look.
I appreciate it, Doctor. All right, let me go to Keikos real quick. Let me get Keikos. I know Keikos wants to respond. And then, John, I got you next. So we'll go Keikos, John, and then we'll get Jonas. I know Jonas wants to come in too. So Keikos, John, and then Jonas.
Yeah. So 2 points. These responses back and forth, these aren't meant to be proposals for a peace deal. These are supposed to be things to negotiate over. Right, so that's one thing. So by nature, they're going to be, you go high, I go low. I don't think the Iranian government seriously expects to be able to get reparations out of the U.S., but can they get something like an agreement to have massive investment come in to rebuild? Yeah. So that way, you can get funds going into the country.
Reinvestment by who?
By, say, the Gulf countries, right, to make up for some of the damage without calling it reparations.
And those reconstruction firms are owned by who?
By countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, etc.
Correct, which are directly funded and backstopped by BlackRock, Halliburton, and other war-profiting corporations.
That's fine. Let me finish my point, and then you can respond. And so my point is that these responses, they were meant to be kind of, this is what we want to negotiate over, not it's this or the highway. But again, they don't really think that Trump and the U.S. are serious about negotiations, so they might as well put these very maximalist things out there because they think Trump is dragging his feet, gathering forces to take another stab at him. The other thing that I would pay attention to is the timing of all this. The Iranian government took a long time to send this response, knowing that Trump's about to head to China. And so I think to some extent they may be kind of taking that kind of time to let the Trump go and bump heads with China, who definitely wants this situation to resolve. And that may in the end up being an easier way for Trump to say he struck a bargain with China in terms of saving face than to say he had to give in to Iranian government demands. That could also be part of their thinking.
Okay, thank you, Keikos. I appreciate that. John, I think you want to jump in, and we'll go to Jonas.
Yeah, no, I did. I'd also like the cost is sort of the thing that freaks me out, right? And not just economically for the American people. I'm talking about for our military. Our weapons cost about, I don't know, anywhere from 50 to 100 times the amount of the Iranian weapons cost. But I was looking into defense contracts, and the amount that the Trump family has received prior to and leading into during the conflict, major defense contracts have gone out. Power Us, which is a drone system company. So you don't. And the reason that I'm mentioning this is because I keep hearing Halliburton and I keep hearing BlackRock, and I keep hearing Lockheed Martin, and those just aren't the companies that are listed in these reports. Power Us, which is a drone systems company that Eric and Don sit on the board of, got a $24 million DoD, or sorry, no, that's the Foundation Future Industries Robotics, got a $24 million DoD contract. In 2026 of April, Power Us got a contract for interceptor systems. Extend Autonomous Defense Robotics got a $1.5 billion deal in February of 2026. A part of a defense group called X10, which Don and Eric are also a part of. And then investment vehicles and oversight. Much of this activity is channeled through American Ventures, which has reportedly raised a $1 billion war chest to invest in sectors, drone manufacturing, AI, and nuclear energy startups. This is a major thing, and I again, profit, right? I don't think it has anything to do. I think the negotiations are at a standstill on purpose. Like Kikos is saying, that they don't really want to deal because the longer this goes on, more and more money that family makes. So I don't think Trump actually wants it to end. I also don't think he necessarily wants it to escalate. The more and more that they can keep building weapons, the more and more they can keep expanding their pockets. And all off the backs of our soldiers and the working class. So I don't know. That's where I'll land for now. But yeah.
All right, thanks, John. All right, we'll go to Jonas. I think Jonas, you want to come in. And then we'll work in Jermaine. Then I want to go to Brooklyn, get Brooklyn's open comment.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to, I guess, respond to, what was the woman's name she was speaking about? She was responding to the girl that got dropped.
I think Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah. I just wanted to know, what is your off ramp for this situation? Because at some point your grandkids would have to deal with an Iran that's nuclear. So they had to be dealt with in some sort of way.
Well, let's be clear. My grandkids aren't going to have to deal with anything because we oppose U.S. imperialism in my family. So we don't ever stand on the side of the colonizers.
Well, you live here, is my point.
Excuse me. I don't know. Last time I checked, Iran wasn't threatening indigenous people or black people last time I checked. But anyway, they're also not threatening the United States, which is
they're going to come to the U.S.
So you asked a question, you asked a question.
Let's let her land, Joseph. Go ahead.
Oh my God. This whole dealing with a nuclear Iran is crazy because the whole world has to deal with the United States imperialist nation. The whole world has to deal with the fact, I'm sorry, what's the only country to ever actually drop these type of BOMBs? Yeah, that's the United States. So the whole world has to deal with the United States, but you want me to fearmonger my, future grandchildren about Iran, which has never posed a threat to us as people of color and really has never posed a threat to the United States. So I think that's kind of insane, but the off-ramp would be the United States and Israel initiated this war. They need to exit out of this. They need to acquiesce to these what is being asked. I think that what's crazy to me is that what Iran is asking for is not even outrageous, right? The United States initiated all of this. They invaded a nation. They've invaded several nations this year alone, which kidnapping world leaders, taking others out. It's so this doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. The United States cannot go around destabilizing regions through interventions and sanctions and then demand unconditional compliance. That's just a fact. Iran it's not irrational for them to want sovereignty, their sovereignty respected, and it's not irrational for them to be anti-imperialist. But peace negotiations require mutual concessions, not surrender terms. What the United States is offering is surrender terms. So I guess the off-ramp would be for the United States to grow the fuck up. I know that's kind of hard when we have a leader who has the IQ of a potato, but that would be the initial point that I would say is to actually operate in good faith in negotiations, because what the United States
States is offering is not negotiations. Iran is actually coming to the table with some points to start working on. So yeah, I don't know if you thought you were going to scare me with that question,
Am I able to
but
respond?
I'm not afraid of Iran. The only country terrorizing my people is the United States. Thank you.
Go,
Am I
go,
able
go
to
Jones, real
respond?
quick, and then Doc. I'm gonna get you. Let me just let Jones get a real quick response. Doc, I'm coming to
Yeah,
you, and then I want to let
my
Brooklyn
point
come in.
is not
Give me a
to
second. Go ahead.
my point is not to go back and forth. There's just a reality that you live here, and so when people say death to America, they're not gonna come here or have people that are sleeper cells. They're not gonna, oh, this person is indigenous or in color. I'm a black man also. Oh, he's a black man. I'm gonna make sure I do this. It's not gonna happen. So like all of this. It's like you obviously seem one-sided. I believe you are very smart in what you're saying. However, like it's not as black and white as you are saying it is. And I feel that they have to be dealt with in some measure. There's just no way.
Real quick,
Hold on.
super quick. Do you know what the phrase death to America actually means? Because it's not talking about the American people. It's talking about American imperialism. So I just wanted to say that.
They've murdered their own people. They're not going to distinguish between us. What are you talking
Just
about?
the United States. Thank you.
Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me let Doc come in, Doc, real quick, and then Jermaine, I'll see if I can squeeze you in because I want to let Brooklyn get an opening comment. But go ahead, Doc. Your response.
Here's the issue, Smitty, is that the problem is much of us who are anti-imperialists, right? They come in and we think that Iran is a good regime that actually favors the brown and black people. And just quickly to answer the question, I don't think war reparation is ever going to be paid. I think Iran is just looking for a better deal, nuclear-wise, and a better deal when it comes to the sanctions to be removed. I think they're very educated. They're all intellectuals at the top leadership of Iran, and they understand that the U.S. government has never paid reparations. I shouldn't say we because I don't stand for the U.S. government, but also to the sister's point of view. And please. Just read about the Human Rights Report. See how many Kurds in Iran that they have unalived. They just unalived 2 days ago a kid, 25-year-old human rights worker who is a Kurdish and a political prisoner who has been held in solitary confinement since 2022 before all of this happening. They've been doing this for decades. Thousand upon thousand, sister. In Syria alone, the conservative estimate is they unalived 3 million Muslims and Christians and Kurds. That's the conservative estimate by the British Lancet Journal. In Iraq, another 1 million have been unalived by the occupation of the Iranian that's still happening to this day, and the installment of the Shiite-backed regime that is favoring to Iran. And the problem is they have these posturing. America is the great Satan. Israel is the great Satan. Do you remember the Iran-Contra affair? This happened after the Iranian Revolution. During the Reagan administration, it was a big scandal. So the American were selling weapons, and the Israeli, by the way, are selling weapons to the Iranian. They're back channeling and selling weapons to them, and they got the money and they deposited it into the Contra, to the paramilitary group in Latin America.
Oh, real
so
quick,
the
Doc.
Iranians have been. Sorry, I just.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
there's just to your point that you were talking about in regards to the Kurds. I think Jermaine flagged. So Jermaine, real quick, I want that you come in, and then I'll let Doc finish his comment. Then we're gonna go to Brooklyn.
Yeah, bro, provide your source on that. Please provide your source because there has been no credible information on Iran unaliving Kurds. So please provide a source. Where can we find that? A legit source.
Amnesty International. Just put Kurdish political prisoners and the Iranian regime. That's all you have to do. Amnesty International. And you know what? I actually have the reports also, the human rights report. I could easily provide it for you if you want. And but listen, if you don't believe me, just look it up. Look up the human rights report. Look at Amnesty International. Look at Human Rights Report. Look at Human Rights Watch. Look at any of the Russian human rights report, the NGOs that supposedly are allies of Russia, because the human rights organizations are NGOs, they're independent. But they also went and they placed a siege in Syrian cities, brother. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that, I mean, this is two bullies going at it. The United States as a bully going at and carrying out an aggression against a sovereign independent nation. But the problem is, we're as anti-imperialists, we don't understand that the crimes that have been committed by the Iranian against brown and black people in the region, because none of us have seen these children who have been unalived and they fled Syria and they drowned in the Aegean and whatnot. And by the way, Ali Larjani's daughter is still here. She works at Emory University, or at least she used to work at Emory University. That is the the number one negotiator. His daughter is a doctor. Her name is Dr. Fatima Larjani. Soleimani's daughter are still in the United States. These are the top echelon of Iranian leadership who are protected by the United States. So when they call us the great thing, this is all posturing. Just like we call ourselves a Christian nation. Are we really a Christian nation? Right? Are we really the promoter of human rights across the world and the promoter of democratic regime? This is all talk. You need to go and actually do some digging and understand that the Iranians, they don't care about Shia, they don't care about Islam, they don't care about anything but their interests. And they've already abandoned Gaza, they've abandoned their Shiite brother in Hezbollah. And I need somebody to record this right now, because what they have during this negotiation process, the United States and Israel is going to request that the Iranian not supply Hezbollah of Lebanon, their Shiite brothers. And I guarantee you right now that they will agree to it in replacement of the removal of the sanctions and in order to get a better nuclear deal, because they've always supported their interests. But again, please, I could provide you with the human rights report if you like. I could provide you the name of the person. His name is Mehrat Abdul Qadir, 25-year-old, who has recently been hanged in Iran. So.
Okay. All right. Let me. I think Covey. I think first wanted you come up to address me what Doc said. I'm not quite sure, and then Brooklyn, I'm coming to you next. I promise. Give me just.
I'm gonna drop to Smitty. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Goes. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. So Covey, I don't know if you're prepared to come in just yet. If not, I'll go to Brooklyn. Let Brooklyn get his.
Brooklyn can get his.
Okay.
Because I didn't hear every single thing he said. I just heard the last part, and I disagree with some things. But yeah. Brooklyn.
I'll let Brooklyn come in first. Brooklyn, your thoughts? What do you think about Iran's demands, and how do you think Trump is handling the Iran war? What do you think?
Well, I think it's a perfect example of whereas the Iranians will not find a diplomatic end to this, right? I mean, their demands are ridiculous, right? What they want back first, before they even talk about anything else, is the Strait of Hormuz, right? They want to say that they control that, right? And anyways, my whole point is that they're not going to deal with us diplomatically. And what I respect about Trump, he's not going to break down to them. Okay, he's not going to do it if they don't come with the reasonable deal. And Trump is trying to back out of this war. I promise you that. The American people are not behind it. I think that was a mistake that he made. I think that he thought that the American people would be behind it because of everything that the last gentleman just said. The Iranians are, for the most part, supporting terrorists all over that region. They are terrible to their own people. Everybody knows this. The entire planet knows this. This is not, the Iranians are not good people, at least the regime that's been in there for the last 50 years. So it's just an example of how not the Iranians are going to sit down at the table and try to end this, right? And I promise you, Trump is not going to back down, all right? So what's going to happen is that this war is going to escalate now. And that's a sad situation. And I don't want to hear any lame blame. Well, you know what? We wouldn't be in this situation if we didn't start it. Doesn't matter. We're already there, right? We're already there. And that's my opening statement.
Okay. I see some flags. Let me see. Who flagged first on the panel? Did somebody flag?
Carolina. Yeah, Carolina.
Go ahead, Carolina, and then we'll go to Covey and Dr. Avila.
So I just have a quick question before I go. Please don't go on a long rant, but how is it not diplomatic what they're asking for?
Well, because the demand is to regain the Strait of Hormuz and have the United States say that area, that waterway is sovereign to Iran, which it's not.
Okay, cool. So it's actually a super basic argument here. Iran directly borders the Strait of Hormuz. The United States has several instances where we have waterways that we have sovereignty over because we border them and have main control over them. So the waterway sits immediately adjacent to the Iranian territory. Parts of the strait pass through Iranian territorial waters, while other parts pass through, I think, Omani waters. Yeah. So the United States, not even anywhere close to that region, right, is operating thousands of miles away from its homeland.
Iran is actually is in the actual regional coastal power. Foreign militaries dominate waters next to Iranian cities and infrastructure, which doesn't sound very diplomatic, as you were saying. So why should a foreign superpower dictate security policy in waters that are directly bordering a sovereign nation? That's where this doesn't make any sense. Like, do I think that the United States is going to agree to reparations? Absolutely not. They still haven't given my people or black people reparations for what they've done to us in this country. But the U.S. naval presence, permanent U.S. naval presence would be encirclement. That's also not diplomatic, right? So they've been living under the sanctions. They've been having to deal with covert operations. They've had to deal with assassinations as of recently, all these constant military threats. So wanting control of a waterway to exert sovereignty over that doesn't seem very unreasonable to me. Otherwise, I think we would have to make the argument that the United States would have to give up all sovereignty over the waterways that we currently control. Don't you think, wouldn't you agree to that?
Well, firstly, let me say, I don't know where international water starts, but I believe, and I don't know, you guys can fact check me. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing here. I think it's 6 miles, right? And so what happens is that, and to answer you a more important question, why would we be there? 20% of crude oil goes through there. Right. So what Iran wants to do is exactly what it was doing. He wants to be able to extort, right? Free trade in and out of there. So that's why we're there. That's the exact reason why they're there. We're not going to say that you can get ahead and tax every boat with the threat of violence coming in and out of the Strait of Hormuz, right? You know what I mean? We're not talking about their their shipyards. Okay, we're talking about international waters. I don't know exactly how far you got to get out to make it international waters, because I would agree up until a certain point, if it's on that coastline, they have control of it. It's just like the New York Harbor. The United States, has control of the New York Harbor. We do not have control of the Atlantic Ocean. And that's my whole point. What Iran wants now is to be able to get in tax, right? 1/5 of the entire world's oil that are coming in and out of that port. And that is ridiculous.
Smitty, you're on mute.
Man, I made a day and a half without doing that. Real quick, we got a flash goal, you guys. We just need 37 different people to get their daily heart meet. It's and we can hit our flash goal. I would appreciate it. Let if we can have Cubby come in and address what Brooklyn said about where international waters start, and then address part of the comment that Dr. Rowe made that I think she may have found some disagreement with. I think it'd be good to have her do that. Go ahead, fam. You ready, sis?
If it's not the consequence of my own actions. Brooklyn. Also, why is it always Brooklyn, bro? People from Brooklyn, man, you got... anyways, listen, did I not tell you this from over a year ago, Smitty, about the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, no, you did.
I've been telling people this from the beginning. The American government knew the Strait of Hormuz was there. Why did it attack? I'm confused. It just looks like a bunch of whining and crying, snot everywhere. If you knew that Iran, which by the way, the Strait of Hormuz is controlled by Iran and Oman. The northern section of the Strait of Hormuz is controlled by Iran, the southern section by Oman. About 7 out of 8 of the islands, I think, are controlled by Iran, actually, because it lies in their waters, right? So the thing that I have is, if you knew from the get-go that this was going to be a possibility, which, by the way, all analysts were saying that this was a possibility, okay? I don't know why the U.S. and Israel decided to invade, okay? That's one thing. Number 2, this is the consequence of your own actions. Number 2, you talk about people treating their own people, or government treating their own people wrong. You come from a country that G-sided Black and Indigenous people, okay? You come from a country that G-sided so many Indigenous people, it caused a little ice age, right? The Americas, all of them. You come from a country that actively G-sided Black people as well for centuries. and continues to G-side both Black and Indigenous people. You come from a country that is currently funding 3 different G-sides. Your country is funding Israel in Palestine, it's funding the UAE in Sudan, and it's funding Rwanda in Congo. So, and Israel, the same thing. Israel's doing a G-side itself. I don't know why people here think that they have any leg to stand on when they come from 2 different genocidal countries and they pretend like they give a damn about human rights. If you care about human rights, go topple the UAE government. Go topple the Saudi government. The Saudis execute their own people. About 300 people, over 300 people were executed this year alone, I think. Or was it last year, right? Women couldn't even drive in Saudi Arabia up until 2012 or 2017. 17, actually. So if you actually care about human rights or whatever it is, then go to these countries, your so-called allies. And to Dr. Rowe, okay, this is the issue that I have. What do you want? I don't deny that Iran was involved in funding Bashar al-Assad. I don't deny that they shouldn't have done that. I don't deny that the IRGC has unalived its own people, right? They, when we look at in the early 90s or was in the late 80s when they unalived all those students because they kind of claimed that they were associated to that group that wanted to topple them, or that person, I forgot what was, it started with an M. So I don't deny any of this. But our bigger threat is the UAE. We had this conversation last time. The UAE is the biggest threat to Africa. There is no other country that is a bigger threat to Africa currently. The United Arab Emirates is receiving Western funding to participate in multiple genocides. So what do? I'm East African, Smitty. Okay? Iran is supporting East African countries against the UAE. What are we supposed to do? Genuine question, Dr. Rowe. You come from a humanitarian perspective. I care about human rights as well, right? Which is why I'm not going to sit here and glaze the IRGC. You never see me sitting here glazing the IRGC, supporting the IRGC, saying, you never see me doing any of these things because I know that the atrocities that they have done as well. But I'm not going to sit here and support them getting toppled because what are we going to do? We're like, our allies within Africa are getting lesser because the West and their allies continue taking down anyone who is willing to fight against their allies. So what are we going to do? Genuine question to Dr. Rowe. Okay. In East Africa currently, to land it, in East Africa currently, Iran supports the Sudanese government against the RSF and the UAE. Iran supports the Eritrean government against Ethiopia and the UAE. What are we going to do? Genuine question, Dr. Rowe.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Rowe. And then I'll go to Dr. Avila next.
Thank you for calling. First of all, thank you for admitting you're very educated, you understand, and thank you for admitting the crimes of the IRGC. There's so many of them over the decades, and the unaliving of millions of innocent people. Because I was educating Sister Carolina about the issues with supporting another evil entity, and this is the selective empathy that I'm talking about. We're not supposed to go, and just because one entity has unaliving. Yes, ma'am. You were talking about the Iranian. The Iranian have never unalived people, have unalived black and brown people. So I was educating you that they have done this in the past 2 decades. And
he asked you a question.
Let me get in after that. I'll go back on mute.
Let me just let me just talk because so this is the problem with our community. It's a selective empathy, and just because the UAE is a threat to the Eritrean people, which is Kofi's people, and they have funded people that unalived the Eritrean, we were supposed to now talk about the United Arab Emirates, and we're not supposed to talk about the Iranian crimes, which, by the way, nobody ever mentioned it because it doesn't suit your interest, and because because the UAE is a bigger threat to the Eritrean people and the people in East Africa, which is absolutely true, because the UAE, and we've been talking about the UAE for decades, how evil they are, how they've been unaliving Africans and black people and Egyptians and whatnot across the region based on their interests. So I've been saying that for decades. I'm just saying there's a selective empathy in this community, that you're not willing to admit the Iranian crimes and what they have done to other brown people across the region, because it suits the interests of the community at this point. So when I'm just saying that we're not supposed to go and support another group that is allied with Russia, that is also causing mass crimes in Crimea. And by the way, Putin, a close ally of Iran, has committed mass crimes not only in Crimea against the Christians, but also against the Muslims in Grozny, in Chechnya, in the First and the Second War in the 1990s. Look it up. Millions of people were unalived by Putin, a close ally of Iran. So we have to really sit down and consider our moral standard. Are we supposed to follow one evil because that one evil is opposing the United States, which is the biggest threat to world peace? Or are we supposed to actually sit down and say, no, we don't support evil versus evil? Let those two evil go at it, and let the UAE and Iran and the United States and all these Western and Eastern imperialists go at it, and let them take out one another so that people could emerge, and a child in Syria or Lebanon or Eritrea could actually survive another day. That's how I look at it.
Can I please respond?
I also want a quick response, but Covey can go before me because he got me fucked up.
Okay. Can I please respond, Smitty?
Go ahead. And then I do want to get Dr. Avila.
يا دكتور رو، أنت مصري صح؟ أنت من مصر صح يا دكتور رو؟
I am. Yes.
Okay, لو سمحت ركز معايا. Okay, I did not one single time deny what the IRGC did. What I'm saying though is, for us in that region, whether it is in Africa, whether it is in West Asia, we are stuck between bad or worse. That is the issue that I have. And I didn't only bring up my country, by the way. I brought up Africa as a whole. Currently in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, when they're fighting against Jainim, which is allied with ISIS or Al-Qaeda, by the way, the Iran is actively helping those countries, by the way, fight against Jainim, right? Which is supported by the UAE and the West. Like when you're looking at the breaking news in Mali, Smitty, I don't know if you've seen what's happening in Mali currently, where they're actively trying to fragment the country, and the defense minister in Mali was unalived. Those groups are funded and supported by the UAE. And the Malian government is receiving drones from Iran to fight against these people. So I just mentioned again, I don't glorify the IRGC, okay, because of the stuff that they did. But at the same time, what do you want? Because if Iran is to fall and we're left there with the West, we are sitting there with less allies. And the largest humanitarian crisis in the world, you should know this because you border that country, Dr. Ro. Winta Kaman, like you told me last time, you were from Aswan, I think, right? So you are very close to Sudan. The largest humanitarian crisis in the world currently is in Sudan. Okay? More than 60,000 people, at least 60,000 people were unalived in 3 weeks in Al Fashir, in one single city. And that is being funded and pushed by the UAE and the West and its allies. So what do we do, Dr. Ro? If Iran falls, the West is still going to be there. What do we do?
Okay. All right. Let me bring in Dr. Avila real quick. I promise her time. And Carolina, I'll drop to you next. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I got you. Dr. Avila, go ahead. What would you like to share with us?
Yes, sir. But hold one moment, because the sister at the very bottom, I would rather for her to go before I come for Dr. Ro. Okay. Because the sister said she had to go. So if you don't mind, yes, sister, go right on that yet, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Carolina.
Real quick, one in the chat if I said that Iran has never unalived black or brown people. 2 in the chat if what I actually said was Iran has never posed a threat and is not posing a threat to black and indigenous people in the United States. Because I know you got me fucked up misquoting me. Second of all, I don't know what type of illegal substance you put in your coffee this morning that gave you the balls to try to say that you educated me on anything. But sir, I need you to really come correct when you speak to me, because you didn't educate me on a damn thing. The condescension with that statement was absolutely wild, right? You need to know who you're talking to when you make statements like that. So again, what I will stand by is Iran has never posed a threat and does not currently pose a threat to Black and Indigenous people in the United States. Matter of fact, what happened during the hostage crisis in the 80s? Pretty sure the Ayatollah said to Black people, y'all can go because my beef isn't with you. I'm paraphrasing, of course. So don't even try to come for me on that. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and stand by what I said. Iran does not pose a threat to Black or Indigenous people in the United States. I didn't say anything about who they've unalived, and I didn't say anything about brown people. So next time, don't misquote me, and don't you ever fix your mouth to say that you're educating me on something. Thank you so much. I yield my time.
We need to run the tape back, Smitty, because she's clearly said, but it doesn't matter what she said, but I'm clearly
Choose her in the chat. The chat spoke
I'm
for
clearly
itself.
delineating that they have unalived millions of brown people across the Middle East, and everybody should know that. If I misquoted you, I apologize, sister, but they have done that, and it needs to be told, and it needs to be informed. And the hypocrisy is this with Kofi, and Kofi was absolutely right. You have the UAE, and I said the UAE is the biggest threat in the Middle East right now. But the issue is this. Kofi says that, what do you want us to do? So by that standard, are we supposed to support the Egyptian government? The Egyptian government, which is, I come from Egyptian descent, right? The Egyptian government has unalived its own people, have not opened up the borders with Gaza, with the Palestinians, because it's a dictatorship supported by the United States. He's a CIA agent. We've already indicated that before. Now, the question is, are we supposed to support the Egyptian government because they have actually carried out attacks against the RSF, who've been unaliving our own people in Sudan and elsewhere? Are we supposed to, clap and applaud the Egyptian government for opposing the RSF and for supporting the Sudanese army? Absolutely not. The Egyptian government has done its own crimes, and I will never actively applaud it or support it just because they oppose the RSF. And this is the hypocrisy that I'm just trying to expose, that we're not supposed to actively support an evil entity. We might shut our mouth and say nothing, but the active support of this community that I see is unbelievable, in the sense that they don't understand the crime that has been committed by the Iranian over the past 3 decades. And Kofi, thank you for acknowledging all these crimes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Rowe. Let me just bring in Dr. Avila, and I think, Brooklyn, you got to go. I got to get Swan in. So let's do this. Let's let Dr. Avila get her first comment, and then Brooklyn, I'm going to let you get a comment, then let you go, and then we'll get Swan up. But go ahead, Dr. Avila. What would you like to share with us?
First and foremost, I want to thank you for allowing me to come up on the panel. And I know I was putting in caps, in the comment, right? Mind your business. Mind the business that pays you. You're so busy in other people's countries, right? Mind the business that pays your ear on the soil in the United States, Dr. Rowe. Since you wouldn't align yourself with whiteness. You understand what I'm saying to you? They don't like us either. Okay? Mind your business. Let's worry about the homelessness here. Let's worry about, you understand, the housing crisis here. Let's worry about they trying to go right on and set everybody back into the 1950s and 60s. Let's worry also about what's happening in healthcare. I am an oncologist, gynecologist. Internal medicine. You understand what I'm saying to you? The things that happens in the hospital when it goes against melanated people. Yet, you have your nose in somebody else's business. Mind their business that pays you. I don't care what Iran did. Let's talk about the injustices. About what happened to the Black Americans and their ancestors who actually paid the damn way for us to be here. Mind your business. And so I asked you in the chat, where are you from? Because let me tell you something, you're trying to hide your accent. See, I come across your kind a lot. A whole lot. You don't align yourself because they call us North Africans and some East Africans. When we come into the United States, they have us listed as white. Honey, I'm melanated all day long from Sunday. And although, yes, I do wave two flags, you see the Spain flag and the Moroccan flag, that's where I'm from. But I tell you what, I'm in the trenches with my brothers and sisters right now, here. I'm not going to sit there and put my nose in other people's business or anything of that matter. Worry about what is happening right now when they talk about, they're going to redistrict different ways so they can try to take away Black American voting rights. Your talking points are moot. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're moot. And if you're here in the United States, what you need to do is get with your brothers and sisters, your melanated brothers and sisters, and say, how can I help in their community? School drives for the school supplies, children not catch eat at their school for lunch. And you got the nerve to sit here and tell this sister who's from here and this soil, about earth, you didn't educate nobody. What you need to do is educate yourself. I learned my plane. I don't want to go off.
I live in America and I've been born and raised in America.
Let me tell you something. You're hiding your accent. You're hiding your accent, baby. You are not right.
Okay, hold on, real quick. Yeah, real quick. I think Brooklyn, you got to go, so I want to let Brooklyn get in. They got to swap you with one anyway. So Brooklyn, I'll go ahead, final comment, and then I'll swap you out.
Well, I think this conversation definitely leads in one area, right? What happens is that the problem with the left is that they hate their own country so much that all they do is bring up a bunch of things that's going on outside the world. I agree with Dr. Zah in the abstract, right? This is an American problem, right? The Iranian problem that we have right now is an American problem. And I promise you this is a prophecy. After Trump rejects their negotiations, there's going to be another round of bombing, and then they're going to send China in, right? They're going to send China in to negotiate, right? Because, and it's sad that it's true, and what's going on in Africa is a terrible thing, but that's Africa, right? I agree with Dr. Zah 100%. We have an American problem. Let's focus on fixing the problems that we have in this country before we make any kind of judgment on what our diplomatic policies is across the board. Thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks for coming up, Brooklyn. Swan, I think you want to come in, and Covey, I think you want to come in. Go ahead. Well, let's let both of y'all come in. Jermaine, I saw you too. Go ahead.
Can Brooklyn stay? Because he was the only, another op.
All right. Brooklyn, if you want to come back and engage with Covey and Swan, feel free. I think we've got a spot now. So, but if he's got to go, I understand too.
Well, if Covey wants to respond to what was said, because I know that she's gonna want to respond to what he said, she can respond, and then I'll go right after her.
I was just gonna say, and I think Jermaine had his hand up, but I was just gonna say, sir, you cannot say, but that's Africa when you're actively in there. This is the issue that I have with people who are either from like America or from Europe, or from any country that is involved in Africa. Like, you sit there and say, oh, we're just gonna focus on our politics. That's just Africa. Well, if you want to focus on your politics, then yeah, focus on your politics and leave Africa alone. Like, you can't sit here and have your hands in the African continent, fund multiple genocides, displacements, conflicts, wars, and then say, oh, we're just gonna stay in our politics. Girl, you're not staying in your politics. That's the number one issue. Like, you're sitting there taking resources, money. The Trump administration released their national security strategy in November of 2025, claiming that they want to harness Africa's resources. Why? Why does the American government want to harness Africa's resources? Why is that their plan? So to me, Smitty, it's very irritating when I hear any like European person, Canadians, Americans, Australians, like anybody who's a Westerner, sit here and say, oh, well, we're gonna focus on our issues. No, the problem is you're not focusing on your issues. Maybe if you minded Epstein's business more than you're in Africa, you wouldn't be in the same issues that you are right now. That's what you need to be doing. Instead of being in Africa, you need to be minding Epstein's business. Smitty.
0 for 2 today, Smitty.
0 for 2. I'm serious. Let me go to Swan. Let's let Swan. Let's let Swan come in. Thank you, PC. I appreciate you, fam. Let's let Swan come in if you want to respond as well. And I do want to let Brooklyn have
Sorry, Smitty. My dog is barking. I gotta calm her down so you guys aren't hearing the barks in the background, and then I'll go. The next person wants to go, I can go after.
Okay. All right. Brooklyn, if you want to respond to Covey, and then Jermaine, I'll bring you in.
I do. I agree with Cubby. I really do. I think that we shouldn't be involved in Africa, not for their resources, not with their politics, not with anything, not until we can get some kind of stabilization in our own country. I agree with that. I don't think we should be in the Middle East. Now, this is my personal opinion, right? But the truth of the matter is that these things are incredibly complex and incredibly nuanced, right? We're talking about world geopolitics, whereas the United States, right, they provide their muscle and they provide their money, right, throughout all of these things, right? And they always come to America and like, look, we need money. You need to throw money at this. You need to use military, whether it's overt or covert, right? You know what I mean? So what happens is that now we're the big bad guy. We're the bully in the Middle East because we actually did something. You know what I mean? And in abstract, yes, you're correct. Abstract, you're correct. However, we live in a very, very complicated world. The United States is a military superpower. We are the most wealthy nation in the world. We are a huge country. And not only that, we're only 250 years old, right? You know what I mean? So yes, what can we do? What can we do, right? We could hope for the best and we could try to make our communities better. Right. But what happens is that people emulate other people. We are literally at each other's throats in our own country by forces that be that have all these opinions to the point where people are saying, I hate the country that I live in. I hate the country that I'm born in. Right. You know what I mean? And that is a clear sign, right, of a demise of this country. And I'm unwilling to do that. You know what I mean? And what happens is that sometimes we have to choose between bad and worse, right? That's just the simple truth. It is sad, but it's a fact.
Okay, let me let Jermaine, go ahead, Jermaine.
Oh boy. Okay. You know what, Brooklyn? Yes, I do hate America. Yes, I do. I hate this government. I hate the government. I hate what the government has and continue to does to indigenous people. I hate what the government has done and what continues to do to black and brown people, to black women. I hate everything what this government does because all it does is oppresses people. All it does is continues to commit genocide, whether it's from violence or political or policies. That's what it does. So you talk about America, but you refuse to acknowledge the fact that what the atrocities that America has done and continues to do till this day. And you see, that's the problem. You said we need to focus on here. You need to tell it to the government. You tell it to us. We don't hate the government for no reason. We have a valid reason. Not only what it does to these people here, but what it does to people all over the world. Whether it's for the global south, to Africa, to Asia, East Asia, Middle East, all over the world. And this is the problem. This is how like these factions come into place, or whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's Hamas, or whether it's the IRGC, is because of U.S. imperialism. It's because of U.S. imperialism. That is the number one enemy. So when we talk about other atrocities, maybe for what the IRGC has done, yes. But again, ask yourself, what is the root cause of of these issues all across the world? It's a common denominator here. It's the United States government. It is Israel, UAE. All these oppressive that fund these organizations that commit violence, not only here from domestically, but all over the world. So I don't get it. Like you're saying, okay, we need to focus on here. You don't even care about the people here. You don't speak up against any cause. You probably don't speak up violence against women. You don't probably speak out against the violence against children, right? You don't speak out against women body autonomy being impacted, do you? No. So how dare you get on this panel and try to say, oh, well, we need to focus on here when you probably don't give two shits yourself. The problem is we do not like U.S. imperialism because what it does, it destabilizes, it creates other factions, liberation factions that are against U.S. imperialism. So I'll land there on that because it's just mind-boggling. Like, yes, we can critique whether from governments, whether it is Cuba, whether it is governments on the IRGC, Iran. But again, when America tries to intervene and overthrow other countries, that's what we come into place that we do not like that. because that's U.S. imperialism. We reject U.S. imperialism. God, it's black and white, Smitty. It's not a hard concept. It's not a hard concept, man. It's not math science. This is basic.
Smitty, can I respond?
Yeah, go Brooklyn, and then I want to let us want to get it. She's ready.
So Jermaine, first of all, I mean, I kind of resent the fact that you tell me what I think and what I feel and what I stand up for. But besides that personal attack, right? If you want to make a change in this country, right? Have the Democrats win the House in the midterm elections, right? Get the seats needed, right? Get into grassroots, right? The grassroots politics in this country and make a change, right? One of the reasons why Trump holds power in this country is because there was a section of this country that said, look, I'm tired of politicians and their bullshit, right? They bought into what he is doing. They agree with what he's doing. So rather than lay blame, win the midterms. That's where you start. That in your own communities where you have these problems, start a grassroots movement. That is what makes this country great. Go to Iran and try to start a grassroots movement and see what happens, right? So stop laying blame and make a change.
Okay, all right. Swan, I think Swan's ready. Go ahead, Swan.
Oh, I am so ready. Let me respond to this guy first in defense of my brother Jermaine over here. First of all, Mr. White Man, I don't know who the hell you think you are telling a black man that he needs to motivate the Democrats so that they can do something beneficial for the people. You know, the United States assisted Germany with their Nuremberg laws. They came here to study the Jim Crow laws, right? And that was the framework that they used for the Nuremberg laws, right? The United States has been perpetuating a Holocaust against black people globally for how long? Germany's involved in that too. European countries are involved in that too. China is involved in that too. And you have the audacity to say to a black man, why don't you get the Democrats to do more? When the Democrats, right, although they perpetuate and carry out things a little bit differently, they are still part of the same horrific government that has caused so many issues to people around the world. Y'all are starting to actually piss me off, right? I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say that Iran is problematic, that they're dangerous, that they're like all of these things, right? When the United States hasn't stopped doing it to its own people. Did you know that from 1999, right, from 1999 to, I believe, 2020, there was an estimated excess unalivings of 1.63 million people, black people, because of racism. Y'all motherfuckers never cared about that shit because y'all don't talk about that shit, right? When y'all start talking about Iran, you talk about Iran as if they are the worst people on the planet. Let's use our brains. Let's use our brains. We hit their school. Don't you think they would have hit us and done something horrible by now? We unalived their children. Over 100 children. If they were that dangerous, would they not have done something by now? They wrote a letter to us, but I guarantee you all the people that paint them as dangerous would never take that letter seriously. The frustrating part about that is they were very clear, they've been very clear since 1953 that they are not worried about harming the people. They just don't like American imperialism. And you think that the Democrats are going to do something beneficial for people? No. The United States doesn't know humanity. When we talk about imperialism, the United States is the biggest T-Bird group on the planet. Let's be for real. When we look at what they wrote, I just want to read something to you guys really quickly from their letter, because I think it's important, right? But in addition to that, while I pull that up, I think the frustrating part is that like this continued narrative that they are dangerous people. When we hurt their school, we've lied about what we're doing over there. This is not even really necessarily about the United States. A lot of this has to do with the I-State and their plans as well, right? I guarantee you cannot tell me, or you could not confirm, right? Or you would know that there's 2.2 million people here in the United States without running water, right? 45% of the homeless population is employed. Right? You wouldn't be able to tell me how many children are starving here in the United States. You wouldn't be able to tell me any of those things. You wouldn't be able to tell me how many times this country has declared war on black people who have not harmed anybody. in defense of whiteness. Whiteness has enslaved us. Whiteness has threatened to feed our baby to alligators. Whiteness has taken our educational opportunities away. Whiteness has allowed police officers to exercise whatever type of brutality they want to on us, right? The hypocrisy. I'm so sorry. I am getting so sick and fucking tired of people's hypocrisy. I am so fucking sick and tired of that shit. I'm so fucking over it, bro. We are now, because of what's happening in Iran, because of this administration's decisions, and because of things that have never ended from the past, we are now raising our children in a society where they will have less than what we had growing up. They will have less than what we had growing up. You would not comprehend that, though. Most Americans would not be able to comprehend that. But I'll tell you who can understand. Iran can definitely understand. They wrote a letter, and I guarantee you did not read this letter. In their letter, they talk about the fact that they are not a group of people that is looking to just take people out, right? The Iranian people, I'm going to read this real quick and then I'll end because I know I'm going for a while. The Iranian people harbor no enmity toward other nations, including the people of America, Europe, or neighboring countries. Even in the face of repeated foreign interventions and pressures throughout their proud history, Iranians have consistently drawn a clear distinction between governments and the peoples they govern. This is a deeply rooted principle in Iranian culture and collective consciousness, not a temporary political stance. For this reason, portraying Iran as a threat is neither consistent with historical reality nor with present-day observable fact. Such a perception is a product of political and economic whims of the powerful. The need to manufacture an enemy in order to justify pressure, maintain military dominance, sustain the arms industry, and control strategic markets. In such an environment, if a threat does not exist, it is invented. Because that is what the United States has been doing since day one. And the final thing I want to end with is, I guarantee you couldn't tell me the femicide rates for black women, let alone just even this year, what the femicide rates are for black women. You want to know why I know that you couldn't tell me? It's because they've been high for black and indigenous women, and nobody cares, right? You had multiple state representatives ask RFK if the maternal mortality rate for women has gone down, and he lied and said it went down to 42%, right? That's a lie. You want to know why we know it's a lie? Because it's not being tracked anymore. He cut the agencies and programs that would be tracking those things. Y'all don't actually give a fuck. And I don't want a response from you, because there's nothing that you can say that is going to take away from what I said. Iran, they put these the Lego propaganda out because they look at the United States as a joke. They don't take the United States serious. But in one of their videos, which have been eating the United States up lately, and I've downloaded every last one of them, they show a BOMB, right? And then they show groups of people that have been harmed by the United States. I saw indigenous people, and I saw Malcolm X. I saw the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and others that have been harmed. Because they get it. They get it. They rent the United States for filth, and like a book. And the reason why they did it with Legos is because the United States is a joke. That's why. But they understand the difference between American imperialism and the people that have been harmed. I don't want a response from you. What you said back to Jermaine was ridiculous, like the Democrats are gonna do a fucking thing. We know they're not.
Let me bring in Dr. Avila. Go ahead, Dr. Avila, if you had a question.
Thank you so very much. And I gotta piggyback off of what the sister has said. First of all, sister, thank you, because you've dropped the mic. Here's the deal, right, Brooklyn? Okay, with the heavy accent in everything. So you bought it, Christian, you bought it for Dumpf, is that correct?
I'm a Trump supporter. My voting rights have been taken away from me.
Woo! You a Trump supporter?
Hold on, wait, sis. I got this, right? I got this. So you bought it for Trump. So you're Christian, Catholic, you know what? Or atheist, I don't know.
I'm Catholic, yes.
Oh, okay. You're Catholic, okay, no problem. And so you have wife and children, kids or whatever, females in your family. I mean, you had to get her from somewhere. There wasn't a stock. So you got mom, you got females in your family, correct?
That's correct.
All right, question. If in fact one was to hurt one of the females in your family, that would infuriate you. Is that correct? That's a yes or no?
That's correct.
All right. So you voted for one, and you already know the history of what he's done, right? But you'll be very angry if it happened to one of your family members, correct?
I've already stated correct. Yes, that's still
So
holds
how
true.
does that? So how is that? How is that okay though? How is that okay?
Are you comparing the accusations against Trump to my personal life? Is that what you're doing?
No, what I'm actually doing, there's no accusations. It's proven. My question was very clear. Now, let me tell you something. Now, I go on and out of these panels, right? A lot of people who catch vote for Trump, you understand? They or no, because we got to make America great again, and so on and so forth. I said I'm all for it. I am. Listen, guys, I am. I'm all for it. I'm all about to make America great again by sending Europeans back from where they came from. So, when are you leaving? Is my question.
Ma'am, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, right? And I will die in Brooklyn, New York. I am an American patriot. And if you find that distasteful, I'm sorry, but I stand on that.
No. But we have the slogan, make America great again. Let's do it together. Let's do this. All of us do it together by sending Europeans back to where they came from. And after indigenous, we turn the government over. Hold on, my love.
People are intelligent here. Hold on, let me make a response real quick and then I'll shut up.
No, I wasn't done. Baby, I wasn't catch done.
Thank you, Monique.
Let's turn the government back over to the indigenous and those who built the country. And let's make it great again. Let's do that again. Rena, you're leaving.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. Brooklyn, if you want to respond, then I think Jermaine's got a final comment.
And I want to say this. I want to say this. I come on this panel because I find the panelists intelligent and respectful, right? What I've seen in the last couple of minutes, me just saying, you know what, we should worry about American things. We went into racism, feminism, all of these problems that are American problems, right? You know what I mean? And then I feel like I'm being personally attacked, right? Because I have a different perspective than yours. And if people can't recognize that, right? If people can't recognize that there is a wedge, right, between people even coming to the table and to even start to try to fix their own problems, it's hopeless. And I am not a hopeless person, right? I am not a hopeless person. I think this country gives people more opportunity than anything else. The doctor talked about there's a lack of education. I'm sure she holds a degree, so it didn't hold her back whatsoever. And then we're talking about a woman of color in the United States. And to go to personal attacks and to say that there's proof and there's evidence and allegations is silly. All it's doing, right? Everything that you blame this administration for, you're doing yourself at the moment, right? All it is smut throwing without coming up with any sort of solution. And if you think that one side of this is going to be able to do it on their own, you are naive. Okay, so let's get to the table, let's be friends, and let's get a solution.
Hold on, so real quick, I want to go back to something you said, Brooklyn, and then I want to let Jermaine get a final comment in, and then I think Swan, you flagged, I'm trying to get you in as well. And I do got to go in about, in about 20 minutes, 10:30. So I think, Brooklyn, you said your voting rights were taken away. But did I hear you correctly? I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. Did you say that?
Yes, I'm a convicted felon. I spent 28 years in the California Department of Corrections.
Got it. Specifically, you are okay. I just wanted clarification on that. And given that that's the case, hold on, fam. Let me just land this.
Okay, because I don't think that's true that he can't vote. But go ahead.
So given that was the case, how do you feel about, and to your point around I think people on the panel maybe having some frustration and how they're wording things to you. How do you feel about what's going on in some of these southern states like Tennessee and Georgia and Louisiana, where black people who literally fought for the right to vote are saying that, hey, they feel like this is a return to Jim Crow and they're being disfranchised? And could you understand that maybe some of the folks on the panel who are descendants of some of these people feel that your support for Trump is related to that disenfranchisement, and that's why they may be angry with you and your perspective? What do you think about that, Brooklyn?
Of course there's a correlation. Of course there's a correlation. There's no question about it. There's a lot to gripe about. There's no question, right? My point is that griping, you know, just Jesse Jackson said something, right? He said that tears and sweat has the same consistency. They're both watery and salty, right? However, right, tears will get you sympathy, whereas sweat will get you change, right? And as far as what you're talking about, the redistricting, we have to change that, right? That's ridiculous. We've been doing it for a long, long time. It's part of our political system that does not belong there. And I'm in stance of ending any kind of redistricting.
Okay. All right. Let me go to Jermaine. Go to Jermaine. I know you want to get a final comment and again, we got about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Smitty, for having me on once again. Again, like we try to present facts, and evidence and everything that like we do, but I don't like this. I feel like he's taking the white approach, like attacks on his character and who he is as a person. Like, are you kidding me? Like, bruh, I don't care about no white tears or no white feelings or white fragility. I do not care. That's not going to make me change my opinion or anybody or any person on this panel who opinion is against that. Like, that's the problem with white people. They feel attacked when we're simply expressing facts and our grievances with this country and the system and what it does, not just the people here, but all across the country. So I do not give a fuck about no white tears or no white feelings or feelings being hurt. I do not care. It's facts over feelings. And really, maybe you should care about the feelings of indigenous people. Maybe you should care about the feelings of marginalized black and brown people, black women and children who are being systematically picked on in this country. Maybe you should have more feelings towards the Palestinian people, the Sudanese, Congolese people, the Cuban people, all over the world. Present your feelings there and decenter your whiteness. Decenter your whiteness. Nobody gives a fuck about your white, but decenter it. And because you fail to look at the lens of people of color. But again, that's peak white people. I'm done with that, Smitty. That's white fragility shit that's just not gonna move me. I'm sorry. That shit just doesn't move me at all. Smitty, thank you, brother. Have a good one. Everybody on the panel, y'all have a good one.
Okay. Thank you, man. All right, let's go to John. Let's go to John and then Swan. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming up.
Thanks, Smitty, and you. Thanks, Smitty. I appreciate it. And you can drop me down. This will be my final comment too. Okay. So, Brooklyn made a comment earlier that I wanted to go back to. Somehow that this conflict is somehow going to better our communities. The national defense budget for the 2026 fiscal year is already at $1 trillion, which is a 17% increase from last year. The cuts that have been made, we won't even talk about the global cuts. Just talk about the at-home cuts. Workforce and IRS, $2.5 billion from the IRS, cutting 19,000 jobs. Job Corps programs were reduced by $1.6 billion. Social and education, elimination of preschool development grants and English language acquisition programs, $2.1 billion. Internal reductions, the Department of Veterans Affairs, reducing veteran jobs by 80,000 administrative roles. Like, we are going to systematically cripple the American economy for this war, but that's somehow going to better our communities. Name one time any war bettered our communities. They don't. They don't better the communities that we go to war with to somehow make we've never left somewhere and left it better than when we went in to begin with. In our 250 years. We
just
are
point out
responsible
Japan
for more.
and
I didn't
Germany.
interrupt the entire time. Please don't interrupt me.
We are responsible for more genocides across the globe and here at home than any other nation. So please do not talk about the betterment of our communities by this administration. They could give a fuck about any of us. They wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire. And I'll land there.
All right, thanks,
Love
John.
you, Smitty. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Good to be home.
Yeah, appreciate you. All right. Good that you're home, bro. Let me go to Swan. Go ahead, Swan.
Of course. So I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better, John. And doctor, I love your accent, and you ate him up. The question that the doctor asked was, when are you leaving? After all of the harm that's been perpetuated towards indigenous people, right? Who, this is their land, by the way. The United States broke, every single treaty that they had with indigenous people? The question was, when are you leaving so we can make America great again? And I love that question. And I think that you have proven yourself to be exactly who you've been read for filth for, right? You responding to Jermaine the way that you did, dismissing the things that we have said. We are talking about issues that plague us and our children and our elders and have plagued our ancestors. You said that we need to fix the issues that we have created. Okay, so the issues that we're talking about would be the fact that Black children in the United States are 3 times more likely to get kicked out of the classroom when exhibiting the same exact behaviors as their white peers. Yale did a study on this. We know that Black women and infants are 3 to 4 times more likely to unalive during the process of giving birth to their children. We know that when it comes to incarceration rates, right, and the amount of Black people that are exonerated, it's at the highest percent. We know that when it comes to our banking, right, Citigroup, they put out a study. They found that banks cost themselves $16 trillion because they didn't want to loan money to Black people who were qualified. We know that different organizations, right, like the Fearless Fund, where you had Black women who are very successful entrepreneurs put together in a program to where they would also assist and give grants to other Black people so that they could start businesses as well, because these banks won't do it. What happened? White people came after them. I want you guys to know that UCLA and their med program, they just got hit with being founded for being racist towards Asian and white people. Do you want to know what they said? This is put out by the DOJ. If you guys get a chance, please go look it up and please go read this. Right? What they said was that this violated civil rights. I think it's like Title VI is what it was. They said that they went in and they found out that the 2 women who are in charge of the admissions programs, Alisa Lopez and Jennifer Lucero, that they had a wheel, right? This wheel helped them determine the different parts of life or different walks of life that some of their med students have. And they did have 2 of the categories were, yes, racist towards white people, white and Asian people, y'all. Please go read this information. Y'all need to read it because I have a feeling that they're not going to stop with UCLA. Unfortunately, the 2 women in that program that were in charge of the main one, Alisa Lopez, has an impeccable resume. This woman has traveled to other parts of the world and knows and understands the importance of having Black and Hispanic people in our healthcare system, right? Why? Because we know that when it comes to the rate, for example, the infant and maternal mortality rate, we know that white doctors have a racial disparity when we look at the outcome of their care for their patients. But with Black doctors, we don't see a racial disparity. There is no racial disparity when we look at Black doctors and their care, the outcome of their care for any race of child or infants. And when we look at white doctors, it is not the same, indicating there is a very serious issue here. And what these 2 women were wanting to do, they knew was important, giving opportunity to those that were purposely kept away from these opportunities that are qualified for this, right? They don't just look at your MCAT scores. They look at different things that you've done and experienced throughout your life that would give you, right, that would make you a well-rounded person to be in this position. But they're not even letting them get into school now. They're claiming that white and Asian people are experiencing racism because they want to give more opportunities to Black and Hispanic people. This is the Department of Justice. When you read the findings, it's 7 pages long. But when you read the findings, what you're seeing is remnants of affirmative action and DEIA being attacked. There's no information, no statistics out there that exist that would prove that white and Asian people have had opportunities taken away from them because we want to give opportunities to Black and Hispanic students, right? Now, the things that I am talking about, Brooklyn, are things that we ourselves as Black people have been tracking for quite some time. You said that we need to fix our problems that we created. We didn't create these problems. We did not. What's happening with voting right now, what's happening with our housing, we didn't create these issues. And the minute we start to bring them up and talk about them, what did you do in this discussion? You dismissed it. I also think it's so funny because yesterday you said that you were a feminist. You said that you were a feminist yesterday. I've mentioned the maternal mortality rate for Black women multiple times. You're not a feminist. You're not a feminist in any way, shape, or form. You're just a racist white person. I don't care that you've been to jail. Nobody cares about any of that. It's not going to equate or amount to the amount of things that Black people have been going through, that we've been fighting against. And you say that we need to be responsible for our problems? You voted for this shit. You want Black people to be oppressed. You voted for Trump. Let's be so fucking for real. And I don't want a response from you.
All right, let me go. We got about 5 minutes left. So we'll get Covey and then Brooklyn and then Catalina. And then that'll probably end the live. Thank you guys so much. You guys are incredible. Appreciate all of the support. Thank you for supporting the panelists. Please make sure you follow all the panelists that you vibe with, that you agree with. And yeah, we got about 5 minutes. So Covey, Catalina, and Brooklyn, I'm counting y'all 2 minutes apiece. Go ahead. Cover you first.
Yeah, I don't listen. First of all, Swan A, as per usual, every damn time she speaks, she eats. So I don't even know if what I can say after that. All I'm gonna say is, for me personally, I'm just a rando person on TikTok, but I do think that the war will restart. Probably, negotiations are gonna crumble. The strikes are probably gonna restart. And it's only going to get worse. I don't think that this war is going to end anytime soon. And I think that to me is very worrying. What's very worrying to me is seeing how many people don't understand how it's just going to continue getting worse and worse. And this isn't me being pessimistic, by the way. This is me just like diagnosing the problem, seeing what is ahead of us so that we can act accordingly. And I do think it's going to get worse, but thank you for having me, Smitty. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate you, fam. All right, Brooklyn and then Catalina, you get the final comment.
Well, firstly, although I understand people's frustration, right? I mean, even despite that, people on this panel are with a modicum, they give me a modicum of respect, right? Here's the thing. I am not a type of person that's going to say, you know what, we don't have these problems, right? You know what I mean? We don't have a problem with the African American community. We don't have a problem with the way women are treated in this country. I admit to all of those things. So the reason why I make this stance is that we have to deal with those issues first, right? Before we get involved in everything else. Everybody wants the United States to throw money at their problems and use their military when need be, right? This is a grassroots problem. If there is a problem in this country, right? If there's a problem in this country, we have the right through our democratic process to start to make changes, right? So rather than blame the white man, right? Rather than blame the white man, use the opportunities that are in this country, right? To make a change. I'm willing to do it. And that's coming. I was born white. I'm sorry. I apologize that I was born white, but I was also born in Brooklyn, right? You know what I mean? I also spent 28 years in the California Department of Corrections for a nonviolent felony, right? That this government locked up everybody in this country. 1 out of every 4 people on this planet, right, that are in prison in the United States. Let's deal with that. And I'm a subject matter expert when it comes to prison reform. If you know anything about me.
If you did, then you would be different. You would be responding differently. You wouldn't even be pushing back in any way, shape, or form. To blame, like, bro, what you're doing right now, will we blame Tamir Rice, a Black child who was playing in a park with a toy pew-pew, who was unalived by a police officer? Will we blame him for his experience? Do we blame the Black infants that are unaliving in our hospitals because of the maternal mortality rate? Are they to be blamed for their experiences? This is exactly what I'm talking about. No one wants to sit here and listen to a white man deny our experiences. People are tired of it. They're tired of it. You could have dropped down and listened from the comments section. Stop doing that. The victim blaming has got to stop.
Thank you, Swan. I appreciate you pointing that out. Let me go to Carolina. Carolina, you got the final comment of the day.
Thank you. So first of all, I just want to say to all my beautiful sisters of color on this panel and in the chat, thank you so much for the solidarity, because as an Indigenous person, I absolutely do want you to go the fuck back home to Europe. So anyway, here's the thing. Whether you voted or not, and honestly, it's a myth that completely from voting. However, you do support this man. So for you to sit here and say, I'm sorry that I'm white, don't be sorry for being white. Be sorry for being a racist. Be sorry for supporting a white supremacist. Be sorry. I don't even want you to be sorry, like, because your apologies don't mean shit. But let's go ahead and address something real quick. Not only did white people create the conditions that Black and Indigenous people continue to suffer under, as Swan so perfectly put it. You said to fight back, right? Or to organize, right? So let's just go through a list of what's happened in the 20th and 21st centuries every time Black and Indigenous people have tried to make some change. Tulsa Race Massacre. Let's start with that. Black residents were building economic independence, creating prosperous Black businesses and institutions in Greenwood, known as Black Wall Street. What happened? White mobs burned homes and businesses, unalived Black residents, BOMB'd parts of the neighborhood, displaced thousands of people. Let's talk about Red Summer. After Black veterans returned from World War I demanding dignity and rights, white mobs attacked Black communities in dozens of cities across the country. Strange fruitings, riots, Black neighborhoods were destroyed. Let's talk about the Black Panther Party and how COINTELPRO, who they were fighting for liberation, right? They were fighting for some major substantial changes in their community. The FBI enacted COINTELPRO, infiltrated these organizations, spread disinformation, encouraged factional conflict, conducted illegal surveillance, coordinated raids and arrests. Let's not even, don't even have time to get into what happened to Fred Hampton being unalived by the FBI, the FBI raid in Chicago. When I know, Freudian slip, my bad. So in his sleep, by the way, Selma to Montgomery marches. People were peacefully walking, demanding voting rights, beaten, tear gassed, attacked on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, right? Bloody Sunday. That came from trying to pass the Voting Rights Act. The MOVE BOMBing in Philadelphia. What about Indigenous people? What happened at the Wounded Knee occupation? The federal mistreatment of Indigenous nations, armed federal agents, military-style tactics, surveillance, prolonged siege conditions, unlawful arrests and illegal detainment, not to mention people being political prisoners for, decades. Standing Rock protests, people peacefully protesting, demanding treaty rights be acknowledged, protesting against water contamination and protecting sacred lands. Militarized police was the response. Rubber bullets, water cannons and freezing temperatures, attack dogs, mass arrests, surveillance, boarding schools and forced assimilations. Hey, we just want to be people on our own land and be treated as citizens and practice our own spirituality. No. They banned our languages. They forced Christianity on us. They forced our children away from us. Physical and sexual abuse, cultural erasure, 21st century examples, Black Lives Matter, just trying to say, hey, maybe stop unaliving Black people for being unarmed in the street and being Black. What happened? Tear gas, mass arrest, surveillance, aggressive crowd control tactics. So we could go on and on and on, but I'm going to land with this. When you colonizers have the nerve to benefit from the conditions that are created to oppress Black and Indigenous people in this country, and then turn around and tell us that we need to fix our communities, but every time we try to fix our communities, y'all unalive us. Y'all torture us. Like, sir, be so motherfucking for real. Educate yourself on the list of things that I just mentioned before you ever come up here and try to tell us how to fix the conditions that you created. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I got to run. Much love. See y'all tomorrow. Appreciate it. I got to run.
Married, and during her vows she's talking to her now husband and she's like, you're the greatest